Welcome to the Dragon's Tome. This is episode 38 for June 1980. My name's Rob.
I'm Chopper.
And I'm Jack.
I was wondering if you guys messed this up again.
And well, I thought we were going alphabetically, right? That's what we've always said.
Yeah, J is before P.
If my name was Pat.
Alphabetically, we went Rob, Chopper, Jack.
Wow, the host always goes first. Anyways, enough arguing. This cover is by John Barnes, and it's called The Cup of Golden Death. And it's very...
It looks very Thundar the Barbarian.
Yeah, very Gamma World-y.
He's not also very proportioned.
Neither of them are really...
His torso is a little small, but he's probably a mutant.
But I do like the fact that his arm is covering her boob showage.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice her boob was showing.
Because she's only got one boob coverage.
Sexist. And it's also covering his junk, his sword, so...
Yeah. Culturally, maybe nudity isn't as verboten in the world of this, which we do get. So the spoiler alert: this cover does have to do with the fiction in the magazine.
I will say that he's got good hair, though. I mean, he's got that 80s kind of Farrah Fawcett, Barry Gibb look.
Yeah.
This chainmail is not very protective, though.
No.
Ruddy complexion.
You could definitely get a spear point right in that larynx.
Oh, yes.
Anything else about the cover you'd like to say? Make fun of this poor cover by John Barnes or Barnes?
I mean, it's still a good cover. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we're still...
I think the girl's face is really well done.
We're still top tier, you know what I'm saying?
She looks she looks like she's pissed off, which she probably would be since her one boob's out.
Well, yeah, she's definitely angry. Like, why would you park here next to this smoking chalice?
Crossed. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like, why are
there
we
were so many more spots over there. I don't know why you had to park over here.
Why are we standing so close to each other? And why are your legs so long that your waist is above mine? Yet our torsos are the same size. Like, she's clearly got a lot of issues.
She's definitely angry. She's the quintessential angry girlfriend, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll get right into Dragon Rumbles.
Yeah, don't say that too much because that'll get us.
Yes, the buffer estate will be on us like...
He's still alive. Anyways.
Rest in peace, Michael Buffer.
This one's a big one, too, because TSR periodicals is going away, and it's replaced by Dragon Publishing, which is separating Dragon from TSR completely. We kind of saw the beginnings of this when they were saying that, it's not the same company, but now it really isn't the same company. And this is why I wonder if this is why Cass quit. He didn't want to have to deal with it being its own company and all the risks involved. That's my question.
Oh, maybe. Maybe he did. Maybe he was not for taking the Dragon magazine out of the TSR blanket.
Yeah, so that's why I wonder. Because it came out, it's not like Cass, like, you'd think he'd have a going away thing saying, my time here's gone. I'm taking new opportunities, but he just disappeared, which is weird. Between our...
All right, I'll be honest with you. I didn't read this Rumbles. I don't read too far into it because I know you go over them. But I'm just now noticing over in the masthead, it does say the Dragon is published monthly by TSR Periodicals, a division of TSR. So I wonder what that's going to say next month.
We'll have to check that out. Yeah, so that's a big thing for it to become its own independent company. They also say they want to work with other publishers to do books and magazines and comic strips into books and stuff like that. So I think it frees them up in that way. They don't have to be associated with TSR. Plus, TSR doesn't have to foot the bill anymore either. They say they are still in TSR offices, which is funny, and they have to rent computer time from TSR, which I thought was...
Does that mean that Gary Gygax is still the publisher?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think that's going to change. He's still, obviously it's still, associated with TSR.
With my interactions with the Gygaxes, I would assume that he is never going to not be the publisher.
Well, he will be eventually. There's 84, 85. There's some stuff.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, But anyways, also they mentioned that some guy won a trophy at Origins and hasn't got it yet from like last year. And is this Origin Shade coming back? Is this some Origin Shade?
Oh yeah, there's always going to be Origin Shade.
But I just thought it was weird that they mentioned it in the actual Dragon Rumbles that some guy has
And
a trophy yet.
they even name him. He's still. It's a last sentence. Mike's still waiting.
Yeah. So anyways, that's about it. It was an easy Dragon Rumbles.
I'd be curious to know if Mike is still waiting.
Yes. Did Mike Barbaro, if you're out there of the Bronx, did you ever get your trophy for best fantasy army at what is it, Origin 79? It's all year before this one. What kind of trophy is it? Really that worth it? I think it'd be like really.
That if it was,
it looked like a bowling trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was a very prestigious thing, like I don't think, like who knows why, like it. This guy could have died the next day. You never know. But to give him to grind the guy over what I would assume was a $10 engraved plaque on a trophy with a like a guy swinging a golf club on the top. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go to Pat first. Pat, what's your first article?
All right. So, ironically, a lot of this is going to involve the Geek Nation tour.
Ironic.
Is it ironic, though? So let's go to page 18. To the Rasmussen Files.
Secret.
Yeah, so I was reading this, and it caught my eye because I am going to be also running a Top Secret game at that Geek Nation tour, hanging out. And so I was like, oh, Top Secret. So I started reading it, and it was a Top Secret style story created by the creator of Top Secret and how he actually created Top Secret.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
So I thought it was a little fun little fun little story that he wrote up. He called himself, he refers to himself as the administrator.
He's like 5'8".
What was that?
Thunder.
5'8".
He's only 22. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and he's from the Illinois. It looks like too, but closer towards Iowa.
That doesn't count. Then.
No. Yeah, but if you wanted to see how this comes about, it even talks about how it took forever for TSR to come back to him to say, all right, we want to greenlight this project now. Like he sat for, I guess, months. What did he say he was working at? I forget where I read it. He was working at some kind of software place.
Well, isn't he a civil engineer?
Oh, no, he was working as an orderly when he got the letter saying they want to greenlight Top Secret. Yeah. But that was my little article. If you like to see how Top Secret came about, there it is.
Yep. Never played Top Secret.
No, me either.
I always saw the ads. Never played it.
Yeah. I was, I'm not much different than I am today. If I saw something like, I got it.
Shiny.
Yeah. And then we played it.
Then we played it. At least you played it. Jack, what's your first one?
Okay, if you'll join me on page 60.
Like, I don't have one. 60?
60 of the PDF, yep.
Flowlight.
Because this is the Dragon's bestiary, and between you and me, it's the only article and or ad I have, because this magazine was devoid of any entertainment, and I would not have paid $3 for this magazine.
Yeah, I would have been a little,
$9. I would be dismayed if I got home and started leafing through and went, oh, Jesus.
But if you had the subscription, it would have only been $2.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, we'll discuss some of the articles that are like why. So,
much like on Team Building Exercise on the Family of Gamers 777 channel, where we discuss building armies. We can do a hate segment where we choose all the articles that
we
we
don't
didn't?
know. Pat might have like 10 articles in this one. Maybe he loves this episode.
I do have 3.
Oh, no. Well, you're a better man than I.
I got 1 and a joke.
Oh, okay. Well,
The thing is, I remember this. I do remember this article, but I don't remember that top secret story. And I'll tell you why I remember this magazine.
Well, we'll get there. Flow light, Jack. Tell us about the flow light.
the flow light. It's an interesting little model, a monster that is just a glowing ball of light that kind of mimics some of the other lights or spells in the game. The notable addition is that at some point tentacles come out and a one single orb-like head with one single eye when it attacks you, and it not necessarily like Cthulhu-esque, but definitely a done right, a creepy little monster. And going back to what we've said in previous articles, the artwork for this monster here, it's the D and the date, and that is again that is
Slave Lord guy.
That is our for me. This is early D&D artwork. He was the man.
I assume it's either Jeff D or I would assume it's Jeff D if it's D for last name. But there's Dave LaForce also does some of the pictures, but probably Jeff D. I would assume since his last name is D.
It's a dash D dash dash D dash with the 80 it's a very distinct. So an interesting little monster, but with some artwork that I associate very heavily with early D&D.
Faux show. I'll jump to my article now on page 16. Which way? It all depends. Tesseracts. I'm not talking about this article. This isn't my real article, but why are we revisiting Tesseracts? Why? God.
And why would you take something that was already this abstract that no one could really wrap their head around? And
I wrapped my head around it. We talked about it.
We did.
It was terrible.
We had reached the maximum that we could talk about it.
Oh,
well, Alan Wells said, you know what? Let's do it 8 times longer, 8 times more involved.
Pat, this isn't one of your articles, is it?
No.
Okay, good.
Because like Jack said, we talked. This is basically almost the exact same thing we talked about.
Yeah.
Because
it's almost the same
skimmed
pictures. It's almost the same picture. I think it is some of the same pictures. Anyways.
But then there's additions where he then wraps it out again, and by
Jack, we're not
factor.
talking about this article. We're actually talking about the Sorcerer Scroll, because Gygax has some words about perceiving good alignments as stupid, plus his final word on female dwarves and beards. But he goes
what page of the PDF was that?
24.
24.
And he goes into each good alignment, explains the basic precepts, which once again is alignments. And he says alignments are set in stone, and if DM forces to play outside that, it isn't D&D. Because some people in the letters and also Sage Advice were saying, "Oh, my DM says that this is this," and he's like, "That's not true." And he does go against Sage Advice a few times, saying the Paladin. Because remember when we talked about this, the Paladin can't do a mercy killing. That's what Jen said, or Jean. But he says that as long as it's within God's tenets, that a good Paladin can do a mercy killing, it's fine. And he also goes against them about how a Paladin couldn't marry and have kids. He says, once again, depends on the religion. Like, tons of religions allow their priests to have kids. And he does throw some shade at a DM who goes into, having kids, and, he's like, that's not the point of D&D. You're not supposed to, role play. You're supposed to just kill monsters.
Yeah. Which by today's standards, a lot of that is so counterintuitive that my motivation. My motivation is that I've got this wife at home and the son, and I want to air a big. No, there's a dungeon. Go crawl it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
I guess so.
But amazing, Gygax comes down on use your common sense, which is good always. But he does say there's absolute truths in D&D, and one of them is that female dwarves have beards. He says that they're never female dwarves are never mentioned in literature. For one good reason is because no one could tell that they were female. They were always there. They assumed that they were a bunch of the dudes or young dwarves, young male dwarves. And he says also that male dwarves are happy that the woman folk have long, luxurious beards because they like to run their fingers through it, which I thought was a bit creepy, but he adds that. So Gygax has a little humor in him, right there. He threw a little joke at the end. But I do like the fact that it does make sense that why are female dwarves in a society where female dwarves are warriors? Why do you never see them anywhere like in the Tolkien and stuff? It's because they were there. They're just you thought they were young male dwarves. So a little smaller, a little slighter.
These are a version of a fantasy. This is a couple steps away from the mythical dwarf of the northern Europeans, and so there's all these different steps. And why is it that when this particular person said for his particular game that the women have beards, that was the step too far?
That was the step too far.
Yeah, he said this mythical race, the women have beards. The sexual dimorphism is different.
I also think it's a bit of sexism, not sexism, but just because somebody has a beard doesn't mean they're not female. It's all good. Yeah. Dwarves are ahead of their time. That's all I'm saying. That was mine. Who are we back to? We back to Pat?
Yes. Probably me. All right, so this is the real reason why
we don't have nothing, right, Jack?
This right here is the real reason why I remember this this issue of magazine. And if you go to page 65.
Oh, ringside, yeah.
It's the free boxing game that came with this game. And back in the day, me and my best friend were very into boxing. We went to a boxing gym in the city, and we boxed a lot when we were younger. And then when
you're being the lead, your friend was actually Sonny Liston.
Yes, my friend his name was Cassius before he changed it to Muhammad.
How old are you?
But when we found out we could have a boxing game and that we could sit down and play and roll dice and everything, we're like, this is going to be great. And it was all right. We didn't hate it, but at the time there were no boxing games, So this is the main reason why I remember this article, or this issue.
Because you definitely played this game.
Yeah, and we played it quite a bit because we didn't have any. There were really no good football games. There were really in the 80s. There were really no good sports games to begin with. I mean, you had that stupid football game with the magnets, and then you couldn't control them. They were just kind of.
They just rattles around. That's the best game ever.
Temco, I think that was the name of it.
Yeah. So to get a game that you can actually kind of control what's going on, you can make your own boxer.
All I have to say is they didn't license these pictures. I know that.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they didn't. But then this is before boxing became a I don't want to say corrupt sport, even though it is.
Before what's his name came along with the hair. What's his name?
Don King. Well, he was around. Yeah, he was done. He didn't have the hair back then, but
before it was a large regulating body with the clout to say, "Hey,
watch the heavyweight championship on on channel ABC on a Friday night when they would have Friday night boxing on the Wild World of Sports."
Mm-hmm.
There was none of this pay-per-view crap. Paying $80 for a 2-minute boxing match.
Yeah.
Where the headliners just hang all over each other for 2 or 3 rounds, and then
someone gets
knocked. It's YouTube celebrities boxing.
Yeah. So, the good old days. But I might actually print this up and try it again because I don't remember the actual rules, but I do remember having fun.
Probably like, dear God, this is so makes no sense.
This is so basic.
Yeah. There you go.
All right.
Jack, you don't
so-
have another one, right?
Do I just skip right to the next one?
Yeah,
I
no.
don't know. Yeah, go for
Other
it.
than my joke that was going to be the same joke that Rob did about the Tesseract, I was going to do about the fourth dimension.
Oh, I almost did that too because I was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
this is a strategy guide for the fourth dimension."
Yep.
Yeah, and it
I'm amazed you
extrapolates
didn't
much.
talk about this.
I couldn't bring myself to it. This whole magazine was just like,
It wasn't good.
No.
I must say that it was a poor showing. Pat, what's your last one?
yeah,
All right, page 54.
54.
The Electric Guy.
Oh, see, I have a little saying about this one too. It's like if I wanted to learn basic, I would. Oh no, this wasn't the basic one. That's
No, wasn't basic. Basic's the next one
yeah.
because I thought the same thing too. But this is the two computer games in 1980,
But
the
you
one
love
I'm-
Star Trek, so
and that's the one I'm pulling out. And
Yeah.
and I remember playing that Star Trek game on my Trash 80.
I did not. I know when you would said, "Hey, it was a good game," and I didn't know it was resource management of power, and like it. Obviously, I wasn't expecting, much, but I could not have played this game.
I enjoyed it. I mean, at the time
at the time you had no other choice.
This is cutting edge. You had, even though it was ASCII characters, you had a quadrant, and it had the ampersand was your star base, the asterisk was your Klingon enemy,
I
and it
kinda
would
remember
move, and then you would move, and then you'd have to
I
set
think
your
I
power.
remember somebody having it and us not knowing what the hell was going on and couldn't figure it out because I was
Yeah, once
a
you
little
had
bit
the
younger
symbols,
than you. So
bands, and then, but then, no, I remember this exact game getting ported into a BBS door game that you would play on bulletin board systems in the early 90s. So that's the main reason why I brought this article up, because I was like, oh, I remember that game. Oh, yeah. Fire torpedo. Oh, I missed. Now the Klingon. And I forgot to put my shields back up. Oh, no. Because you got to put your shields down when you dock at Starbase, and then if you don't put your shields back up, you die.
yeah.
So it was a fun little article talking about. I didn't play the Civil War game, though, so I don't know anything about it.
Nah. That looks even more resource management, but yeah.
Yeah, this looks like you got to get your troops and your marine and all that other stuff.
But yes, good old Star Trek.
Too much.
Did you have a tape player or did you have an actual disc?
This one was on a floppy, like a big
Fancy.
5.5,
Oh yeah. The big PC.
and it would it'd take a good 10 minutes to load.
yeah.
So
The good old days. Kids, you don't know what you're missing.
yeah.
No.
All right.
Any ads for anybody?
I got an ad.
Okay, what ad?
Page 4.
I think this is
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
actually the Barrier Peaks one.
Yeah.
That's page 3, but hey.
3.
This is
Sorry.
my ad also, yeah. Anybody actually play Exhibition of the Barrier Peaks? I know Pat did, but
I did. Yeah. This is the third.
high level. It's
third-
8 to 12.
Well, this is the third special edition module that came out. Tomb Horrors being number 1, Expedition White Blue Mountain being number 2, and S3 was Expedition Bear Peak. And this module introduces a Gam World crossover because you could find a laser pistol from Gam World on the peak, as you can see by the guy holding it in the picture.
Yep. It looks suspiciously like a phaser.
Yeah.
When I joined the gaming group that from work years ago, and they were doing all the modules in order, and I came in after they had completed this module. So I had heard about it. I didn't even get to see the cover of it, but everyone was still hyped about finishing this one while we were starting the next one.
Yeah. So we had. I think if you do enough digging around, you actually find a crashed spaceship.
Yeah. Back when they did crazy stuff in their modules, it was...
Yeah.
They were willing to really...
But this was actually fun. I mean, all these S modules are really... I mean, with the exception of Tomb of Horrors. Tomb of Horrors was just designed
Possible.
to make people hang themselves.
Oh, too tsunami.
Yeah. But S2 and S3 were very enjoyable one-off module games.
Nice.
So,
Jack, do you have any ads?
No.
Well, like Jack said, this is going to be a quick one because, this wasn't the best issue of Ye Old Dragon.
no. Actually, let's go to page 7.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I was trying to wrap
Let's
it up.
do.
Pat's like, we must go to page 7.
Well, I just want to point this out because I've never seen this game, but it almost looks like fun.
Magic Realm. Almost looks like Carcassonne. Or not Carcassonne. It's Carcassonne?
Catan.
Catan. That's what it is.
But your buddy Roy Saxon from Ontario just says it's one of the very best Avalon Hill games.
But that's faint praise.
I mean,
this is before that was Avalon Hill games suck.
Are you
this is
saying
one of the very best?
Are you saying Roy Saxton isn't straight up?
I'm saying that they chose the quote carefully.
I mean, I do have a fair amount of Avalon Hill games that I enjoy.
We're the enemy. We're TSR guys, aren't we?
Well, it does. The article does say, hey, this is a full color thing. I know this isn't black and white. Like, it does kind of like, hey, give us a shot. And it's got the quotes and stuff. But I had never heard of it, and I didn't. So I don't know if it was ever popular or.
Remember this game either, which is why I want to point it out because it does look pretty fun.
I do must say that they, I don't know if they did on purpose, but they stuck the Avalon Hill Company thing over the last sentence of the, I think that's Dragon just being like, screw you, we don't care what you can.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just thought you ought to know, in case you're...
Stuck reading a Dragon magazine.
Yeah, I guess so.
And they slapped it. How dare you?
Well, it's probably halfway through, they're like, we don't have our name on this anywhere. It doesn't actually say Avalon Hill anywhere in this ad. So... Yeah.
Other than from Roy Saxton.
That's true, only him.
So how is Roy, by the way?
Oh, he's dead. He hung himself after playing Tomb of Horrors.
Oh no.
Anyways, enough of this issue. We're done with this thing. Next week will be better, people. I tell you right now. Join us on
100%.
Twitter. We were on Twitter.
What?
And we don't post much, but we're on Twitter. And subscribe. And
I'd hang myself on Twitter.
Hit the bell.
Ding ding.
My name's been Rob.
I'm Jack.
And I've been Chopper.
We'll be back next week with a better one, hopefully. See ya.
Bye bye.
Wouldn't want to be ya.